Good morning and welcome to Therapy Tuesday with award-winning psychologist and our best buddy, Dr. Geraldine Tan. Good morning, Jerry.
Good morning.
Although this morning, it's going to be a bit heavy. We're going to be talking about family violence and abuse.
Yes, we are. I know we've spoken about it once, when the preschool situation happened. But yesterday in the papers, another article came out that the number of child abuse cases actually remained high in 2022.
Oh, wow.
How
so that's
high?
why I thought about 2,000 and 100 plus. Yeah.
Like
2,100,
reported
yeah.
cases.
That were investigated.
Over 2,000 cases.
Over 2,000 cases.
Over 2,000
crazy.
cases.
What constitutes abuse?
So there are 4 different kinds. So let's go with the MSF definition, okay, since we are in Singapore. So the categories of abuse, there is child abuse, there is spousal abuse, there is elder abuse, so across the developmental spectrum, the age group, as well as the vulnerable group. So MSF actually specified vulnerable adult group, but I suppose we can expand it to all the vulnerable people. So 4 different categories that they have highlighted, so for us to take note of.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but those are categories. Within those categories, what makes up abuse? What do
The
I have to
types
be
of
to do? Yeah.
abuse.
So what do I have to be abusive?
Yeah, is it a feeling? Is it feeling threatened? Or is it like actually having bruises? And what constitutes as evidence of abuse?
So there's emotional abuse, there's physical abuse. So most of the abuse that are seen and reported are usually the physical abuse. Even those that are maybe spousal abuse where they are quarreling. That's, the people don't report that as much. But yes, I think Daphne had a very, very good point about threats. When you feel your life is in danger, when you feel like your environment or your children are in danger or someone is in danger. So there's emotional and mental abuse.
Wow.
So when a husband irritates the wife, is that abuse? I mean,
Are you just
because
checking,
your mental well-being is in danger then.
it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, if the wife gets irritated all the time, is that abuse?
Okay, I think
Irritation,
that is bordering, and it's very hard to define, right? That's why people tend not to step in when it is a domestic issue. So what is joking, what is taunting, and what is that full-blown attack on another person? I think it's sometimes very subjective, but when it causes a very negative impact on the person.
If the husband
And the
suddenly
person
farts at the dinner table, let's say, is that abuse?
I feel like this is very trivial things.
Yeah, but everything is
happens
abuse these days.
Yeah.
It's true, yeah.
No. But the thing is, so it may not constitute as abuse, but the interesting fact is, and some of the lawyers may have encountered it before, even irritating habits of the spouse can be used as reasons for divorce.
Right.
Whoa.
Yeah.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
People don't fight for love
it's
anymore, huh?
interesting.
So you can't be yourself anymore.
Okay, Jerry,
I mean,
to get serious a bit, yeah. So I was a parent who didn't spare the rod to spoil the child.
Okay.
Yeah.
Basically,
Right.
he beat his children.
Yeah.
That's where I take offense. I did not.
Okay.
I did not.
You
So
smacked your...
I caned my children. I smacked my children.
How is that not hitting though?
No. Hitting is uncontrollable anger release.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
If you define
Caning
it
and
in that
smacking
way.
is discipline. Because I was called abusive on air. I was called abusive.
Because nobody canes their kids anymore.
No, that's not true. Everyone canes their children.
You'd be
Now?
surprised. Yeah,
These
you'd be
days,
surprised. They
using a
all
cane?
just keep quiet.
Yeah, they still sell it
So,
at the mama store.
is that caning and spanking abusive?
Now, if you're spanking the
So-
wife, for example,
Glenn!
is that... Okay, anyway, let's
We'll ask that
continue this
question when we
conversation
come
on
back.
the Big Show TV. Here's Sophie and the Giants with Paradise on Kiss 92. All the great songs in one place.
Okay, Jerry. So spare the
Gonna
rod,
rip
spoil the
cut.
child, right? So I did cane my children. I did spank my children, but I was very cautious to never do it out of sheer anger. It was discipline.
So I think the better term to use was you disciplined your children.
No, I'm trying to explain what I did.
Right.
In discipline.
Yeah.
Because I want to know if
Yeah.
what I did was in today's world considered
Abuse.
abusive.
Interesting.
So if you were in any of the Scandinavian country, that behavior, that action will constitute as abuse.
There.
No questions
Okay.
asked.
Sorry.
But we
Okay.
are in Asia. So this is where many people would differ in their opinion from mine, because I still believe spare the rod and spoil the child. So it horrifies many people that I do use my hand on my children. So I might not use the cane, but I do use my hand on the children. So when I was doing parenting talks, there were many times where the Caucasians couldn't tahan what I was saying and just walked out of my talk. But I do believe that discipline is important. Now, how are you going to mete out discipline is different for different people. Right? So if we talk about corporal punishment, there are times when it may be warranted, where the consequences is a little bit more, should be a little bit more severe. And that's when parents say, okay, I will use the rod, or I would use a little bit more pain to indicate to the child. But of course, not without reason. So we reason with the child, we let the children know. And I always encourage parents to use their hand, because you actually can feel the force against the child, and you know how hard it is. And these children know. So there were times where I tell the children, it hurts me more than it hurts you. Because definitely, why would you want to hurt your own children, right?
Yeah.
So especially for parents who discipline the children, because their intent is for the betterment of the child, with the best of intentions. But there's this part where if you hit, and you hit without reason, you lash out, and you are not in control, then that's where the child has no idea what's going on. There's a lot of confusion, and you don't even know your own strength. That can lead to abuse.
Right.
So you hear of usually the fathers coming back drunk, and they are not in control of their actions. They're not. They seem to be reasonable, or they think they are reasonable, but they do not have any reason at all. They start smashing things. They start throwing things. The child may be, a little bit late in opening the door, and they start whacking the child.
Oh,
So
that's sad.
consequence is not. Okay, the child may be late, or may take a bit of time, but it doesn't warrant you to beat up the child and leave bruises all over the body.
I think that also applies to relationships, because I know of some people that, they make the slightest mistake and their partner just gets completely enraged at them. Like it doesn't warrant their
Right.
anger. You know, the mistake doesn't warrant their anger. Like 5 minutes late, 10 minutes late, didn't message. Then suddenly, like when you
Yeah.
get there, you're in trouble.
I mean, there's no real justification for that, but sometimes there is a deep-seated issue.
Yeah,
know,
but that's a
that-
conversation. You know,
exactly.
everything can be resolved through conversation or through communication. I feel, but
Yeah.
I think when the anger is not warranted with
Yeah.
the punishment doesn't serve
Yeah.
the crime.
There still needs to
Doesn't
be
fit the crime.
self-control.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there should be consequences, I think, for kids and for your partner. But if the minute it turns, like creates fear, an environment of fear, then to me, that is, you just don't feel safe. And you should feel safe at home and with your partner. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
When you don't feel safe, that is an issue. So these abusers tend to have language that are very external, what we call external locus of control, rather than having an internal locus of control where they are able to control their own behavior. They would say things like, "You made me do this. If you didn't do this, whatever behavior it is, I would not hit you. You
that
don't make me
gaslighting?
angry." So gaslighting is in another category of its own. But for the abusers, the external locus control is, they tend to have external locus of control rather than internal locus of control.
Yeah. So if let's say I was talking about the husband farting at the dinner table, is that gaslighting?
No, that's definitely not gas. If
It's
you,
a different type of gas.
If you-
Gaslighting if you have a lighter.
I see. I see.
Then it will be green.
no, if you did fart and then you said,
Wait,
I didn't fart.
We're on the
you're
Big Show
just-
TV, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
If
So I can
you-
crack that kind of jokes.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
If you let loose some gas and then someone called you out and you're like, "No, I didn't." You're just imagining things. That's gaslighting, right?
There's
Ah.
Yeah.
gaslighting.
You
Yes,
choose to
yes.
smell my
Right.
smelly gas and then you just anyhow say that's gaslighting.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm
Yeah.
not for like farting in front of people and all that because I
Hey,
think
sometimes you gotta go. I mean,
I mean it's true, but then you might. I mean that might affect everyone who's present emotionally as well if they've not experienced anything
I-
like that
Okay.
or that kind of intensity.
That
I
that's
have
that's
no
what.
idea how smelly your fart is,
Oh,
but oh my
bad.
god.
If you smell what the rock is cooking.
Okay, I want to pick up on what Glenn just said emotionally. Now we've been talking about corporal punishment,
we
and
go
it is very easy to define and recognize. When we come back,
Yep.
I want to talk about the emotional, mental side of it. Okay.
5
Okay.
seconds.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
Good morning, Singapore, and welcome back to The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is award-winning psychologist from the therapy room, Dr. Geraldine Tan. And today we're talking about family violence and abuse.
Yeah.
And I think all of us, in one way or another, are guilty.
I mean, we grew up in Asia, so that norm. I mean, to me, that norm is
I
different.
can't agree that most of us. Are you trying to say that most of us in Asia have experienced abuse at
Or
some
have
point?
been abusive without knowing it. I mean, not to
It's a
Okay.
cul-
the
culturally-
level
Okay.
that Jerry was talking about early
No,
on,
no.
now,
Okay.
where you physically abuse
Yeah,
people and all
yeah.
that. But I think the emotional abuse,
Ah,
right, Jerry, that's very common, right? Emotional.
I guess when we call it an abuse, the abuse need to cause a certain harm and a certain impact on the other person.
Yeah, but if the other
So-
person is very,
Sensitive.
very sensitive, immediately it's abuse.
It doesn't. That's too blanket
no,
of a
that's too.
statement. I
Yeah,
think.
you can't.
No, so if you've done it once and they call it out, and we resolve it, that's fine. So abuse has this element of a repetitive behavior, and it wouldn't stop. That means it's gone on for a prolonged period of time,
Yeah.
and it has not ceased. That's when it causes impact on the people around them.
So Jerry, we've talked about the physical side. Now this mental, emotional side of abuse.
Yeah.
There are no physical outward signs.
No.
If you get what I mean. So how do we know, and how do we help someone if we can't see that they're being abused? What do we look for?
Wow, that is really tough. Okay, let's look at what emotional or mental abuse is. So the perpetrator tries to isolate the person. So they try to isolate the person in various ways. Sometimes they say, I have the financial power, so you have to listen to me. So the spouse feels trapped that they cannot break out of that situation. Sometimes a spouse feels that their children are being held ransom. So it could be the children, it could be a loved one, it could even be a pet, a loved pet. Can you imagine somebody says about Snowflake, and if you don't do this, I will do something to Snowflake. Immediately you would just succumb and you would give in. And
I would defend my child fiercely. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, but this element of the other person being very manipulative and also gaslighting, right? So that causes a lot of doubt and they break the person down. So if we look at someone who is subjected to emotional and mental abuse, perhaps we're looking at someone that has very low self-esteem, very doubtful of themselves, very withdrawn, perhaps. But yes, it can be very, very silent. So it's tough.
Would you say that, I think maybe a sign of that emotional abuse is someone whose personality changes when, like, after they've been with someone else? Like, let's say they have a new partner and then they're going through emotional abuse. You can tell that their personality kind of goes through a bit of a transformation.
If you have that privilege of watching the change, sometimes we don't have.
Yeah.
We get to know the person when they are already in that relationship. And, for spousal violence or family violence, this person has already been in that environment for years. So we might not see the change in this person or the change in personality.
So sometimes it's better to be single. Because sometimes,
why do you look at me whenever you say that?
No, I
because you're single. Right?
I completely understand where Glenn is coming from.
Right, because sometimes, if you're with someone, right, who does not make you a better person, now what's the point?
No, but that's why I've stayed
what I
single,
mean?
because I want to find the right person. The last thing I want to be is in a relationship that I have more problems with than when I'm single.
Yeah.
But being single for so long, I mean, I deal with the loneliness a lot more. And so I guess as someone that's single, I don't know why I've said I'm single like 4 times in a row, but basically I feel like if my problems as someone single and the little pockets of loneliness I go through are less troublesome than being in a relationship, then of course I choose to stay single.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But hopefully I
But I
find him
don't think
soon.
it's about just being single. I mean, we talk about like child abuse. I think we do see abuse in the workplace. We also see abuse in our domestic or towards our domestic helpers. So that's another abuse. Yeah, where the employer feels empowered because they are the ones that are the paymaster, right? So they withhold food, they withhold
God, that's
certain
horrible.
privileges from the helper, which is not good. Yeah.
Okay, let's continue to talk to Jerry on the Big Show TV. It is 8:20.
Well, Jerry, interesting question. When I first read it, I thought, oh, this is a silly question. But then, no.
From Eddie?
Yeah, Eddie. If you discipline your child without hitting or caning, instead, you take away some of his or her privileges temporarily, is that considered abuse? For example, yeah? Oh, you've broken this rule. You are grounded for 3 months.
Wow, 3 months is a long time.
But okay, what?
Three
I see,
months is
but
a
okay.
long time.
Better than hitting the person.
See, this is what I mean. So the parent says 3 months is better than me whacking you. So in other words, you're school and home. You don't have any other life. Is that in today's Glenn? You shouldn't drink. Is that in today's context abuse?
The punishment and the consequence must match, right? Like what the child did, and how severe the punishment is must match. If let's say this child has flouted your house rules and stayed out late, for 3 weeks in a row, then maybe 3 months might be a suitable punishment. But if let's say the child has just dropped a plate and just broken a plate, I don't think we'll ground the child for 3 months.
But isn't that subjective, Jerry? That's your thought process. For a
Correct.
parent, that plate could have been a family heirloom.
I mean,
You know what I'm trying to say? So how do we judge what is abusive?
Let me put it this way. I think, we say that taking away the privilege. I'm not sure where I read this story and where this story comes from. So if any of the listeners find it familiar, you can just let us know. Where this child accidentally broke the father's windscreen. Okay? And the father broke the child's leg. So the
Oh my
so
goodness.
whacked the child and broke the child's leg. So because the car is the father's prized possession.
not
and the
his
child
child.
shouldn't. Sorry?
Isn't his child? Shouldn't
So
his
the-
child be his prized possession?
Maybe, but he told this child, right? Don't play ball beside my car. Don't play ball beside my car. Don't play ball beside my car. And what does this young boy do? This little boy played ball beside the daddy's car and broke the windshield. So the father goes, I'm going to teach you a lesson. Pam! And whacked the child and broke the leg. So the child wakes up and say, Daddy, I'm really sorry about your car. When will I get my leg back? But it's broken.
But was it deliberate
So-
on the part of the dad to break his leg, or was it an accident?
He just hit him too hard, but that's crazy.
Yeah.
Though.
This
So-
dad
so-
should go to jail.
This is a father who
doing
lost
something
his
like that.
temper.
Yes.
Yeah, and broke his
the
child's
red
leg.
clouds
Lost
the
his temper.
eyes. Yeah, when the red clouds your eyes and you cannot see anything else, and you dish out a punishment that is not warranted, to what the child did. Yes, the child really did something wrong. You can scream at a child, you can, even smack the child, but you don't say tit for tat lah.
Okay,
Are you satisfied now, FD, for asking that question?
Yeah. It's
are there tools for parents? Because I know a lot of parents, most parents in Singapore,
As in tools to beat their kids?
no, no tools for parents. Because a lot of them are dual income. They work all day. They come home. They have a lot on their plate. They're up to their eyeballs. They don't know how to calm down before they dish out the punishment. They only see the transgression and think of must do immediate. Because I get that, with my dog, who obviously isn't the same as a child, but when she makes a mistake, if I wait too long to correct it, then to me it seems like abuse, because I'm just disciplining her and she can't remember what she's done wrong.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
kids have a little bit longer memory, but once, how long can a parent use to just get what's the word? Calm themselves down or collect themselves before they can dish out the punishment that fits the crime. What are the tools that they can use to calm down? What's the best advice you have for parents that are overwhelmed with a mistake that their child has made, and they want them to make sure they know that they've made a mistake without possibly falling into abuse.
Right.
Calm down. Calm down. Calm
This
down.
is Glenn's
Calm
thing
down.
first. Glenn, you should have a jingle, and then every parent should just play it, and after you finish singing 3 times, they go and face their children.
It's like the baby shark for parents,
Oh,
Sorry, I clearly hit a nerve. Yeah. So, are there tools?
okay. So the first thing I want to remind all parents: please look after yourself. Self-care is so, so, so important, right? Daphne, you just mentioned if they are tired, they're not going to make good, they're not going to be productive at work, and they're not going to be very good, effective parents. So in any environment, they're not going to be effective at all. So looking after yourself is very, very important. Now, if you do feel that fire, that ball of fire suddenly just, come up through your body, the important thing is to walk away and let the fire kind of quell first.
Do you tell the kid that they've done something wrong before you walk away?
Yeah, you can acknowledge that I'm angry, or you can say, that you've done something wrong, but that's it. That's it. You walk away. You do not react to that ball of fire inside that belly, because it's not passion or interest that you're dealing with. You're dealing with anger, and you're not sure what the anger is hiding. So I said it before, anger is a very peculiar emotion. It hides other emotion. So it could be when you step away, you realize it could be that you're disappointed that your child did not listen to you. It could be that you feel ashamed, in that particular situation. It could be that you feel guilty for something, and you want to acknowledge that emotion rather than the anger itself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when it comes to anger, it's like,
Anger's the worst.
yeah, it's the absolute worst, especially if you've got pent up anger already, right? It just makes things even
very, very
even
hard.
worse.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like so angry and you should just shut up and not say anything.
Go
you
to the
feel like,
fragment room.
oh my God,
Well,
if I hold it in anymore, I'm going to burst a blood vessel in my eye.
I think on our Facebook page we have a classic case of not being able to deal with anger.
Okay.
This is from Benjamin. He said, when I was young, I wanted to perm my hair. My father strongly objected. He threatened that he would cut my hair off. I was 16. I was rebellious. I permed my hair. When my father saw my permed hair, he told my sister to take a rope and tie me up. He used scissors and cut my
Okay,
hair.
then that dad has a problem. Obviously, right, Jerry? A little bit of a cuckoo, right?
Well, I guess the impact on this, on Benjamin, has lasted. I think cutting the hair wasn't the issue. Cutting the hair would have been a punishment for going against his instruction, but tying him up.
Okay, hold on, Jerry. We're going to go for a traffic update. Welcome back to Therapy Tuesday right here on The Big Show and The Big Show TV. Our guest for this morning is Dr. Geraldine Tan from the Therapy Room. So, Jerry, we've been talking about family violence and abuse, and we've talked about the types of abuse, the signs. Can people heal from the abuse?
They will heal and they will grow from they will continue to survive. That's not the issue. I guess it's where we want to help them to thrive. So we help them to heal from that past, and then, they grow from that experience. And another myth, I get asked this all the time. Is it true that if someone is abused since young, they will become abusers themselves? No, not all of them become an abuser. Yes, some of them do, the tit for tat sort of revenge, but not all of them. So
But isn't
it's
it
a
in the
myth.
blood?
No.
It's like for example, if my dad, I mean, he's not around really. If my dad was like abusive and all that, then
No, you can
I might
break-
be a bit abusive too.
No, I mean, I feel like that that is what she's saying. You transfer that on if you feel like you've been unjustly treated and you want revenge. So you take it out on whoever is next. But if you do the work, I mean, this is what my therapist told me, is if you do the work and you heal the pain that has been given to you, then you only have love to give left. Right, Dr. Jerry?
Yeah. So if you start healing, then you know that there are other options. Most of the time, when they perpetuate the cycle of abuse, is because they only know one template of living life and disciplining. They don't know any other examples, and they have never practiced any other examples, and therefore they use the same method over and over again for generations. So it's the environment too that sometimes does not permit them to have other options, because they don't know of any other options except the ones that they have been taught. So once they learn that there are other ways of approaching a situation, they can start practicing, and they actually enjoy other methods, because the abuser is actually a very unhappy person. They're not happy abusing. None of them are happy abusing. I've never seen a happy abuser before.
So Jerry, there's yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh. But that just sounded,
No, but
just
it's
made me smile.
But I kind of understand where
Happy
Jerry's coming
abuser.
from. So if that is the case, Jerry, then as much as the person being abused needs help to learn to deal with it so that hurt people don't hurt,
Yes.
what's open to the abusers then? How do we help them?
They too can come forward to seek help. So there are a number of them that actually came forward, and I'm really, really proud of them, because they are so miserable so one of them came, and he was kind of pushed by the spouse to come, and he says, I've got anger issues. And then when we start to dig a little bit more, and we found out how broken his childhood was, and he started to heal, he's a more settled person. Don't get me wrong, that bubble of anger still comes out, that impulsivity is still there, and we're still working on it. But his mood is definitely calmer, more settled. There's his friends have commented that he is happier, so that is a good thing.
I just want to break away from the seriousness of all this chatter. Oh, I guess this might be a serious comment too, but we have David Lee from YouTube that messaged in saying, Glenn keeps irritating his colleagues. Is that abuse?
Yes. I say yes.
Okay, I have to say, I can be pretty, abusive towards FD.
Oh, I don't know. My family has all said like, "Wow, Glenn takes such good care of you on the show."
Oh, see?
And
There.
he does.
That's
so-
because she's a woman. Do that to me.
Do that to me one more time. Never enough. Okay.
They even sing together. That's abuse.
Okay, let's continue to talk to Jerry on the Big Show TV. It is, wait, hold on. Sorry, I was looking at the screen and, things were moving. Okay, coming up very soon, we've got Eve with Off the Record right here on Kiss 92. That was quite funny, actually.
I
I was about to go, here's Eve. Oh, no, wait, hold on.
I wasn't sure. Maybe we needed to do a time check or something.
No.
Jerry,
Okay.
I want to ask a question. I've always wanted to ask you this, and I forgot. It's absolutely. I'm sorry. It's totally left field. It's got nothing to do with abuse. But it's a question I need. It's just jumped
Book an
into my head.
appointment. Book
No,
an
no. It's a question because it's jumped into my head about
Don't you stop.
telling your child I need time to cool off before I deal with this.
Okay, that's relevant one.
Okay, so, but this is not what I'm saying. A child breaks a rule in the house, right? And mom goes, "You wait till your father gets back."
Okay, well.
So now there's a 6-hour gap between the crime and the punishment.
Yes.
Should that be done or should that not be done? Should the
Well-
mother just punish the child there?
So what the mother did is to disempower herself already. Because if we are looking at parenting, both parents should hold equal power. But if the mom gives that power to dad, now she will always bear the brunt of the child misbehaving because she has now given the power to the father. So yes, the child might be scared when the father comes back or closer to the time when the father comes back. But now he can play punk for the rest of the time because mom has no power. She effectively just relinquished all her power.
But I think I know why she did that, Cherry. Because when she told the son that, she was in the kitchen holding a knife. So that's why she looked at the son and went like, okay, you wait for your father, because if you leave it to me right now, I'm going to cut you. Or it could be another situation where she's in the living room vacuuming the house.
You should write
And
a
the
book,
son-
Glenn.
And the son is there.
Fantasy world
I
is
know.
so amazing.
And the son has just been really naughty, and the mom says, you wait for your father to come back in the evening. Because if not, she would have used the vacuum on the kid's face.
I don't even know what fake story
is-
we're talking about anymore.
I don't know what story. I thought the chicken was already done already.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. You know, talking
Mom's
about
rock.
Glenn abusing us or the DJs,
Abusing
right?
us.
No, but I must say this just before I go on to whatever we are talking about, right? My dad keeps reminding me, Jerry, why do you keep poking at Glenn? Wouldn't he feel upset? He scolded me for keeping Glenn in check, and I was like, why is my dad protecting Glenn? So weird. And here we are saying that Glenn abuses everyone,
See? There.
I mean, that's obviously.
I love your dad. I should hang out with your dad.
We're obviously
You can
being
play golf with him.
Oh, well, we're obviously being facetious when we say that because I don't know about FD, but
Yeah.
Glenn takes very good care of me, so I'm obviously joking when I
I take
say
care of all my girls.
that. Only the girls.
One more question, Jerry, from our Facebook. Good cop, bad cop. Two roles being played by different
Yes.
parents. One's a good cop, one bad cop. Yes or no?
So both parents with equal power, they complement each other. That's the whole idea. It's not, black and white and it's so stark. The whole idea is parents play complementary roles and that they step in because all of us have different strengths and different weaknesses. So what one parent can do, maybe the other parent cannot do. So both come together and collaboratively work with the child. So that's how you have the unity and strength in numbers, and the children learn that they cannot manipulate the parents. They don't split the parents.
Okay. We've
Okay.
got a Big Show TV contest.
Yes, we do.
Yes.
Yes.
You want to mention it
Yes,
now?
I do. We have got a prize that we're going to give away. You're going to see a ticker run across the bottom of our screen. The prize is
3 tickets, not 1, not 2, but 3 tickets to catch Yuna, the Malaysian sweetheart who has been signed by Usher. Incredible. She's going to be live in Singapore on the 18th of October. That's tomorrow, 18th of October, 8 p.m. at Capitol Theatre. The tickets are worth $354.
So Yuna and Asha are going out.
No, Usher discovered Yuna.
Oh.
He helped her blow up.
don't. If he helped her blow up, then he's abusive, no?
No.
Because he blew her up.
He helped her find fame
Yes, in America.
in Merca. But
In
she's
Merca.
already very, very much loved in Singapore and Malaysia.
I love her voice.
So incredible.
So the question is scrolling across the bottom of our screen. What you want to do is get into our comment section on Facebook, answer that question, and you could walk away with those tickets. Well done.
This is your last chance, huh? No more. We have
yeah,
more
because
Yuna
the show is
tickets already.
tomorrow.
Yes. Okay, so back to Jerry. Are we going to be signing off on the Big Show TV or on air?
On air.
On air. Okay, so we can talk some more.
We can talk some more.
Okay, so where were we?
We were talking about not bullying you and her dad.
Yes. Well, okay. Let's go with a little bit of acronyms here, okay? So for the abused, abuser, and the what I call the amused, because I can't call them bystanders. So, another A would be the amused. So for the abused, the base word is act, ACT. So all these are Jerry's original, okay? So you Google them, you cannot find them. So,
So pay attention.
ACT. So A stands for acknowledge. Acknowledge that you have a problem, that there is a problem ongoing. That's acknowledge. C, courage. Because sometimes to talk about it, you need a lot of courage. So you gather all your courage. T is talk about it. There's no two ways. So talk, and we don't really mind who you talk to. Talk to a friend, talk to the janitor, talk to someone before you reach out to a therapist, because sometimes a therapist may be too scary for you to reach out. So once you gather that ball of courage, reach out to someone and talk. So ACT. Now for the abuser, is fact, FACT. So the abuser, I would like you to face up to what you have done, because many times they are in denial. They don't face up. A, act not. So stop that action. So the A stands for act not. C, you also need courage. Courage to stop. That's for the abuser. And T, therapy. You definitely need therapy. So that's the abuser. And for the amused, I will use the acronym TACT. TACT. Now this is a little bit more difficult. There are two talks in it. So the first talk is when you see someone that is being abused, I would like you to encourage the other person to talk. So not you talk, yeah? So for the bystander, I would want you to get the other person to talk. A, advice. But this advice is not you simply just dishing any old advice. It's empowering the abused with resources around them. Because a lot of people just say, oh, you should do this, you should do that. I don't want those sort of advice. They don't need that sort of advice. So empower with resources. C, comfort them. Listen to them, embrace them. So they need you to listen. That's C, comfort. And the last one, T, you too talk about it, because there is secondary trauma. Sometimes a lot of abuse is quite difficult. So the frontline workers tend to see a lot of abuse, and sometimes are the subject of abuse also. They too need to talk about it. So we cannot ignore those that are helping also. So act, fact, and tech.
Nice.
Wow, these are great tools.
I like how you are so quiet.
Yeah.
Like, listening
We were
to
No, because
absorbing.
just absorbing it, Jerry.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
we want to, take something away from this session as well. Since I can't see you.
I also do feel like this is a conversation that is so important.
Okay, we're going back on air and we're gonna sign off here. Okay, here we go. Stand by. Troy Sivan got me started right here on Kiss 92. All the great songs in one place. We're just about to wrap up with our therapist, Dr. Geraldine Tan from the therapy room. Every Tuesday morning, we love it because we feel like, you are a therapist.
She is a therapist.
I don't know whether she notices it, but we kind of like, we get her to help us out.
Yeah.
No, absolutely.
In a
I
little way.
always say like Tuesday is therapy day.
Yeah.
Like get to talk to Dr. Jerry Tan is amazing. And
Exactly.
I think today's topic as well is such a highly relevant one in our culture, Singaporean culture, that we're still learning to have, because the whole idea of disciplining and abuse, I think, comes from a lot of different different types of Asian backgrounds. I mean, I'm sure all of us have spoken about it at some point. And
Yeah.
for me also, like doing research for my record, I think this was the one thing that I noticed. I was like, how does no one talk about this when everyone like one-on-one conversations. I'll hear about your family, you'll hear about my family. And this, I mean, as we go on with generations, it's getting better, but I've never sat down with a therapist to actually look for tools to make it better.
Yeah.
And the fact that we're doing it on such a public platform too, I think is so great. So thanks, Dr. Jerry.
Yeah. I still want to be on your couch.
All
Though.
of you. No need. Every Tuesday, and I really thank all of you for holding space for everyone that is listening in, because then they too know that they can talk about, very difficult topics and to give themselves permission to cry. I really love it last week when Angel held that space for all of us.
Yeah, very true, very true.
So we better buy box tissues and just leave it here at the studio.
so.
I think
Because
so
that's not the
too.
first
Necessary.
time she's crying, She cries very, very easily.
That's a good thing. That's so healthy. It's very healthy to cry.
I hear you cry too
And
much, you
all-
can go blind.
That is definitely not true.
Okay, it's not true.
Too much. Not too much.
All right, any last words, Jerry?
Yes, and Rumi says, the wound is the place where the light enters you. And I love this quote a lot. So I've used it a couple of times. I'm not ashamed to use it again.
Amazing.
That's
Nice
nice.
one, Jerry.
Thank you so much. Much better than FD's quotes at the end of the show.
I give up, no? I give up, Jerry. This is abuse. It's abuse.
I cannot help you. If not, my daddy will scold me again.
Okay, Jerry,
Abuse.
have a wonderful week ahead. We'll see you next Tuesday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.